What happens when three tech leaders show up on a webinar, and what do they talk about? Well, cloud, of course. I'm thrilled to have with me today Wendy Bahr, Rubrik Chief Commercial Officer, Dave Sellers, WWT General Manager of Multicloud, and David Willis, Microsoft Corporate Vice President of their US Partner Group. And my name is Corinne Sharp, and I'm the moderator for today's leadership discussion. Hi, everyone, and thank you for being here with us today. So let's start out by getting to know each of you with a little warm-up question. We've all had the opportunity to try a new hobby or a passion or reignite one from your past. So why don't you share with us what yours has been during these months of working from home? And one rule, it can't be being on video calls all day long. Wendy, why don't you give us a start?
Sure, Corinne. Well, first of all, it's great to be here. I can tell you that I've been married for 38 years. And one of the things I'm most proud of is that my husband, about 3 years into our marriage, said, honey, do you mind if I do the cooking? That gives you a sense of how great my cooking skills were. But during this period of time when we're working from home, I thought it's long last my turn to maybe learn how to revive those skills. My husband used to say my favorite thing to make for dinner was a reservation, and that was absolutely true. But without the commute time and with a little bit more opportunity, I dusted off some of those cookbooks, and I've actually found that I enjoy it more than I did when I was young and we were raising two kids and struggling to put dinner on the table every night, something interesting and something the kids would eat. So for me, cooking, my husband and I, obviously empty nesters now, but we're enjoying kind of exploring new recipes, pairing with new wine, and it's actually been a lot of fun.
That sounds fabulous. So Dave Sellers, what about you?
Yeah, so with the times we're living, as basic as it sounds, just to get out of this office and this house at night, I'm just literally going for long walks. It's I pick a different park each night in the city or the county that we live in, and just put my earbuds in and some Spotify, unless my daughter's on my phone, and just literally walk for 2, 3, 4 miles and try to clear my head and think about what we need to do the next day. So it's really just getting back outside for me, because I just cannot stand being claustrophobic in my office all day.
Fabulous. Well, you're looking well for it too.
Thank you.
So David, how about you?
Yeah, sounds good. So, living in the Seattle area in the Pacific Northwest, coffee is a way of life here. And so, it's not so easy to pop by the coffee shop anymore. So we went out and bought a high-end La Marzocco coffee machine, the type you'd find in a coffee shop. And so it's been fun, working on perfecting my cappuccinos. The other thing we've been doing is, the mountains out here, phenomenal. And it's kind of a COVID safe-ish type of activity, go hiking. So been doing a lot of that. Actually spent some time in Mount Rainier 2 weekends ago. Did some hiking there, which was just beautiful. It was fantastic.
Wow. So it sounds like all of you have been, good food, good drink, and good exercise. So that's fabulous. Well, let's jump in with my first question, and it's for you, Dave Sellers. So you run the multi-cloud team at WWT and work with some of the largest enterprise customers. And the pandemic has certainly accelerated organizations' cloud adoption. How do you define a cloud smart strategy, and what does that mean for you and your customers?
Great question. So I think today there's more technology choices than businesses have ever had to sort through, whether that be the numerous services that Azure itself offers, whether it be co-location facilities, whether it be hybrid platforms or edge devices, and on and on. And so a cloud smart strategy to us is really sitting down with our clients and understanding the business outcomes they want to drive and achieve, and then creating a technology footprint or architecture that helps them organize their people and process differently than they have in the past, and then helping them to figure out which applications and data sets go where in this myriad of choices to get to those outcomes.
Fabulous. Great. So Wendy, as Chief Commercial Officer, what are your thoughts on Dave's positioning, and what is Rubrik doing that is resonating with customers? Because your growth is exponential. So you're clearly doing something right in the cloud for customers.
Well, certainly. And, our relationship with WWT has been fantastic because philosophically we are well aligned. We see our customers really making the transition to the cloud. In fact, maybe even more rapidly now with COVID-19 than we've ever seen before. Frankly, customers struggle with legacy backup solutions because they're too complex, They're too slow, and frankly, they don't leverage the benefit of the cloud enough. And we radically simplify data protection. We turbocharge the recovery and the rapid ransomware restore, and we let our customers move to the cloud quickly and economically. For Rubrik, it's all about simplicity, agility, security, and frankly, what the customers care about, a lower total cost of ownership.
Well, we're hearing that all the time for sure. So David, Azure is the fastest growing cloud in market. And many would say, me included, has the best partner strategy in the ecosystem. So share with us how partners are innovating, like Rubrik and WWT, and what are you seeing out there that is changing the value of Azure in the minds of customers?
Yeah, so I mean, we're seeing pretty much every company go through some form of digital transformation, be it leveraging the cloud to optimize their infrastructure, modernizing applications, taking advantage of some advanced analytics and AI capabilities, or even innovating new business models. Disrupting before they can become disrupted. As Dave said, really focusing on the business outcomes that are most important to them. And I think particularly during these times, it's really important that organizations are agile and can respond to the changing conditions, can make sure they recover to what I think is going to be some form of new normal, and just reimagining their business to capitalize on some of these new opportunities. And so the cloud, really, provides a cost-effective way of doing that. When you pay for only what you use. The fact that you can spin up new workloads in virtually minutes as opposed to days or weeks, in the old on-premise world. So a lot of flexibility and agility there. And Azure, as you mentioned, is a fast-growing offering for us. Over 95% of Fortune 500 companies are using Azure today. We have over 60 data center regions around the world, over 140 countries. We're now up to over 90 compliance certifications. And when it comes to hybrid scenarios, which is what a lot of customers are looking for, they want to leverage their current infrastructure but take advantage of the cloud. We really do have the best hybrid offering out there. And so when we look at what we have from Azure, and then when we look at what partners like WWT and Rubrik can do to add further value, I think we're positioned to really deliver great value to customers together.
And Corinne, if I could just tag off of that, because this is a perfect example. A lot of people know the company Estée Lauder. This is an opportunity that we frankly work together on with WWT and with Azure. Estée wanted to have an corporate initiative that would get them to the cloud, but their existing data protection partner really didn't have a clear path and frankly was sort of evading their questions. So they asked us to ship them a brick, one of our appliances. And before the incumbent could even answer their questions, our solution was shipped, installed, it was ingesting their data, and it was archiving it to Azure. And it was really as easy as 4 clicks to the cloud. And that's the power of the triple play. When you combine WWT and Rubrik and Microsoft Azure, we're getting agility, mobility, simplicity that all of our mutual customers are looking for. And that's to David's point, it's about speed, it's about agility, and it's about making sure the customers are getting what they want.
4 clicks to the cloud. I love it. That's really, really great. So, Mr. Sellers, customers have been on a cloud journey for a while, and as well, some the remote worker journey, but COVID has pushed that fast forward button. If they were 10 clicks before, now they desperately need those 4 clicks to the cloud. How can WWT help customers who have to accelerate their cloud and remote worker strategy at the same time?
Yeah, good point, Corinne. And we're certainly clearly seeing that with our customers too. And they're trying to move a little faster than I think we're all comfortable. And so we've tried to come at this from a worldwide capabilities of having a gamut of offerings to really help them do that, from cloud security expertise, cloud networking expertise, application migration help, delivering collaboration tools like Teams. We're trying to give them that A to Z offering to really help them drive their business where they need to with everything that's going on with COVID. And then additionally, we've got the Advanced Technology Center in St. Louis with a bunch of offerings where customers can get hands-on and try things before they actually procure them. We see a lot of demand for products like Arc, and we've even got a specific Rubrik accelerator to Azure in the ATC that customers can try out to see what it's like to use that to move their data to Azure. So we've got a lot we can offer customers in these challenging times.
Great. Well, I'm hearing great things about your Advanced Technology Center for sure. So speaking of teams, David, I've been reading the stats that the number of Teams users has grown exponentially to support the current workplace environment's remote worker. What has that experience been like in the last 6 months at Microsoft?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, as we talked about, we're definitely living in unprecedented times here. I mean, the shift to remote working has been pretty dramatic over the last, 5-6 months or so. And, fortunately, we've got some great tools like Microsoft Teams that have allowed users and workers to be more productive and remain productive. And so, yeah, Microsoft Teams is a modern workplace solution that brings together communications, collaboration, as well as the ability to integrate business processes into the solution overall. And it's really based on a strong foundation of security and privacy as well. And yeah, we're seeing incredible rates of adoption, from the largest global enterprises through to many, many millions of small businesses for that matter. Now we're up over 75 million daily active users. They're consuming 5 billion meeting minutes a day, which is just incredible. And what's neat, of course, with the cloud now, we're coming out with new features and functionality regularly and updating, refreshing each of our users. And so I think a great example I'll call out is this Together mode. And if you've watched any of the NBA playoffs, you've seen this in the crowd that you can see there. And it's a new experience in Teams that uses AI technology, and it digitally places participants in a background, really making it feel like you're in the same room with everyone else, in a meeting or even in a classroom. It's working really well from an education standpoint too. And it just makes meetings more engaging. You can focus on others, faces and body language and pick up on, some of the nonverbal cues, which are so important in interacting with other people as well. So lots of exciting stuff happening with Teams. Adoption, as I said, is really high. And, at the end of the day, it is partners like WWT that can bring it alive for customers. And because there's so much capability that we deliver through Microsoft Teams, but WWT can really help customers, allow them to really benefit from all the technology that's there.
Well, thanks, David. Thanks for sharing about Together mode, because interesting enough, I was on a call with quite a sizable group of Microsoft people this week, and I experienced that where there was the stadium seating and people would be popping in and out. It was really cool. It was a really cool experience. So Wendy, customers have been putting together what we call maybe temporary measures on security for years. And now with reduced resources, increased focus on security and data management, on the other side, we're seeing ransomware and high-profile security breaches on the rise. So how is Rubrik helping customers mitigate this risk?
Well, Corinne, it's really critical. And if I had to tell you, we talk about this all the time inside Rubrik. Pretty much the number one thing that customers are really concerned about is ransomware. They are petrified that they're going to get, hacked and have to write that great big check. And unfortunately, advanced ransomware is now attacking backups. And so this is a really big problem in the industry, particularly in local governments. We've seen a rash of bad actor attacks. Unfortunately, the bad guys never take a day off and in fact get even more aggressive during bad times like we're experiencing with the pandemic. So we're really proud at Rubrik because we have immutable capabilities, end-to-end encryption and granular visibility. So when we write your data, when we back that up, it can no longer be attacked. But more importantly, our Radar product, Rubrik's Radar for ransomware, helps customers know when they're being attacked. The prime goal here is so that they never have to write a check. When you buy Rubrik and Rubrik for ransomware, we can absolutely give you near real-time recovery so that the bad actors can't force you, they can't blackmail you to get your data back to write that check. So we're seeing lots and lots of opportunities. Recently, we had a mid-sized public hospital, about 222 beds, deploy our services. 90% plus management time savings, which is huge to your point about people having to be at home, immutable backups to protect against those cyber threats, near zero RTOs for business impact. They save 42 days per year of additional productivity to give back to the business. They have improved cyber resiliency to ensure they can get that data accessibility immediately. And then, of course, long-term retention to Azure to meet the organizational requirements and the policy requirements. So again, a fantastic opportunity. The trifecta of us all working together, WWT, Microsoft, and Rubrik, is really unparalleled in the industry. And we can bring so much value to our customers during a time when, frankly, I don't think it's ever been needed more.
Oh, absolutely. And we're, everyone should be anxious to have those goals and metrics met within their business with a sense of urgency. So let's end with a closing question. And then what is the one thing, or should say 3 things, that you want to share with our viewers who are moving full steam ahead with a cloud smart strategy? And the rule this time is you can only use 3 words. So David, what are your 3 words?
I'd say my 3 words are imagine, transform, and impact. So imagine what's possible. Transform, taking advantage of these incredible cloud technologies that are there. But at the end of the day, it's all about, as Dave started off with, it's all about business outcomes and making an impact with, any investment that's going on here. So those are my 3 words. Other than I might add, partner with WWT. Like
Great.
the 3 words. And Rubrik.
Thanks for that. So Dave Sellers, what are your 3 words?
I think I'd go with vision. Where do you really want to take your business and why? I think that's key with all the choices you have, as we talked about at the top. It's great to have choices, but sometimes too many choices locks people up for a while. So I think you need a vision as to where you want to be the next 6 to 12 months. And then secondarily, I think you need a partner or a group of partners like are on this call who can actually guide you through that execution and plan. Because when you're doing things you haven't done before, and we're using technologies that are fairly new, there's complexity in that, and there's some risk in that. And so if you go to the Rubriks of the world, or the Microsofts of the world, and the WWTs of the world, hopefully we can collectively reduce that risk and get you those outcomes you're looking for.
Okay, great. And Wendy, what are your 3 words?
Simplicity, agility, and security. And all 3 of those can be accommodated working with this trio. And then, of course, I have to say FCC 4 clicks to the cloud, because that is what customers want to do.
Love it.
Well, that's great. It sounds like we really are in together mode, not only on Teams, but in partnerships in the industry, which is fabulous and why we've brought you together. So thank you very much for being with us today to hear more about cloud smart strategies with these 3 amazing tech leaders from Rubrik, Microsoft, and WWT. For more information, you can check out the Rubrik recent ebook called Paving an Easier Path from On-Prem to Azure with Powerful Cloud Data Management, which is all involving these 3 wonderful organizations. So just head over to rubrikclouddatamanagement.com. You can find that down there. And thanks, David, Wendy, and Dave for sharing your insights with us today. A fabulous group of leaders in tech that are paving the way for enterprise customers.
Thank you.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Thanks very much.
Thanks, everyone.